Boy, a lot has happened in the last 24, 25 hours because it was prior to yesterday's show. We were watching women's gymnastics, and Simone Biles said, I'm not competing anymore. There was confusion. We didn't know if it was physical. Is it mental? Is it a little bit of both? We'll hear from Simone Biles coming up here in a moment. And her decision to pull out of the team gymnastics competition has really changed the tone of the 2021 Olympics. Of all the athletes in Tokyo, she was the sure thing. If you said, who's going to win gold? You might have said Katie Ledecky, maybe the basketball team. It was Simone Biles. It was not a question of if she's going to win gold, but how many golds is she going to win? This was supposed to be the coronation of her as one of the great athletes of all time, American athletes of all time, not just gymnasts, not just Olympians. But that conversation has changed because instead of focusing on her remarkable physical skills, we're now talking about the mental toll the level of competition can have. She does things in gymnastics that nobody else can do, but many of us can relate to the topic she's talking about now, and that's stress, the fear of disappointing people. And we'll wait to see what happens. She's pulled out of the individual all-around competition. That'll be coming up Thursday. Now you have the other singular events coming up, and that'll be coming up over the weekend. Hopefully she's able to compete, dominate the field, but if it doesn't happen, maybe her experience in Tokyo can be productive in a completely different way, because as tough as this week seems to be for Simone Biles, it's an opportunity for her to inspire people with her honesty and her vulnerability. And you certainly had that yesterday. I don't think we have to overreact one way or another. Like 20 years ago, we would be looking at this saying, wait, you're in the Olympics and you're not mentally tough enough to compete? We're far more understanding with this now. We have far more research on this. Now, you can still be critical. If you want to say Brett Favre played through a football game and he was incredible on that Monday night when his father passed away. Michael Phelps was able to swim through some of his issues. I understand all of that. If you don't want to applaud her, I think we got to be careful when we're criticizing. Have some empathy to know in that moment she's saying, I can't compete. And if you watch her in that competition, she's not enjoying herself. Not enjoying herself at all. And she may have cost her team if she did compete. And maybe she cost her team because she didn't compete. I mean, they're both possible here. But if you watch it in the context of when it happened, and she came out there and she's cheering. The time that she seemed like she was truly herself and enjoying herself when she's cheering on her teammates. She could have stayed in the locker room. She's on camera, every performance focused on her. I give her a lot of credit. Now, that doesn't mean I don't want athletes to fight through things, but normally it's a physical thing you're fighting through. We can understand that. And I can understand both sides. Hey, we want our athletes to compete, fight through an injury. Well, mental is different. You can't see it. You're going, wait, what's wrong? Wait, you're not having a good time? Oh, boo-hoo. I understand people's reaction to that. But I think that's on the surface when you don't understand that. Anybody who's ever had these conditions, gone through these moments, had panic attacks, it's real. It's just not something that we attach to our sports heroes, our athletes, the GOATs. They fight through this. Michael Jordan had the food poison, the flu game. He fought through. Like Tom Brady played an entire season with a knee that needed surgery. I understand all of those things. Those are physical things. Also, understand this. If you're not in the right mindset, let's say you're playing basketball. Kevin Love was going through something, some mental anxiety, panic attacks. He just walked off the floor. Now, he's not in danger playing basketball. Do you realize how dangerous gymnastics is? It is the most dangerous, statistically, high school sport in America. It is. The number of injuries. She's not herself when she's out there. I think the enormity of this, I also think an extra year, the pandemic, I think that they were trying to bubble wrap the gymnasts because of the importance of the Olympics. You have sponsors who are now saying, hey, NBC, ratings are going to be dipping if Simone Biles isn't competing. Simone Biles. There's a lot attached to it. But she did meet with the media yesterday. And she was asked about, is this physical or mental?
Was there any injury? That was one thing we wanted to know. And if you can elaborate on maybe the stress you've been feeling. We all know when you're in the spotlight, we can imagine what it's like.
Right. No injury, thankfully, and that's why I took a step back, because I didn't want to do something silly out there and get injured. So I thought it was best if these girls took over and did the rest of the job, which they absolutely did. They're Olympic silver medalists now, and they should be really proud of themselves for how well they did last minute having to go in.
And then she talked just about the stress of the Olympics.
It's been really stressful, this Olympic Games. I think just as a whole, not having an audience, there are a lot of different variables going into it. It's been a long week. It's been a long Olympic process. It's been a long year. So just a lot of different variables, and I think we're just a little bit too stressed out, but we should be out here having fun, and sometimes that's not the case.
5 years. She's 24. It's been 5 years. That buildup. And Michael Phelps brought up something last night. By the way, Michael Phelps has been wonderful on this topic. He talked about how that extra year, it's almost like, and she talked about Simone Biles prior to the Olympics. She couldn't wait for the Olympics to be over. It's rare when an athlete who gets this opportunity once every 4 years or 5 years says, I can't wait for this to be over. You want to savor the moment, stay on that podium. You want to hear that anthem. You want to be with your teammates. She couldn't wait for the Olympics to be over. And you almost got the feeling that she felt like she had to compete in the Olympics, not that she wanted to. She had nothing left to prove. I mean, Michael Phelps had nothing left to prove. Now, you do get sponsors who are paying you, but she's also turning down that bonus money because she didn't win a gold, at least not yet. I mean, they're human. They're fallible. Katie Ledecky, she can't lose. Wait, she lost? Wait, she lost again? They're fallible. And as much as we want to trump up, triumph, Brett Favre played through his father's death, Tom Brady playing on a knee that needed surgery, like, I can respect both of them. And maybe Katie Ledecky's feeling the same pressure. I have no idea. But it's easy for us, certainly if you're a grown-up, and you're there on your couch and you're watching going, wait, I mean, come on. Let's go. Like, Simone Biles let you down? This is about her. She's the one that has to deal with the ramifications here. You know, Naomi Osaka doesn't want to play in a Grand Slam event. Well, that's a big sacrifice. It's not like she's passing up the Indian Wells tennis tournament. She's saying, I don't feel comfortable. But Simone Biles did root on her teammates. Simone Biles did show up at the press conference and answered questions. I have great respect for that. Certainly coming back out and cheering on her teammates. And her teammates, I mean, imagine if a quarterback at halftime of the Super Bowl goes, I don't think I can do it. I got to ask my backup to come in. What if Tom Brady at the Super Bowl says, I can't go out there? Blaine Gabbert's going to have to go out there. Those women did a wonderful job in the moment where Simone Biles says, I'm not. I mean, they have to be going, wait, what's happening? Is she hurt? No, I can't do it. Okay. Jordan Childs stepped up. She's dancing. She's getting whatever crowd is there, like on your feet. Like it was a really interesting, remarkable moment for me in watching it. Do I want her out there? Yes. But you go into this competition, you're supposed to win. So the pressure of just trying to win is one thing. Now you're supposed to win. And then if you don't win, oh wow, boy, they got really close. Oh, Katie Ledecky barely won. Oh, Team USA barely won again. Like that pressure is enormous because it's never going to be good enough for anybody. Oh, you call yourself the GOAT. Yes, she calls herself the GOAT. And to some people, she did act like the GOAT yesterday. Because for her, she did the right thing. In our minds, some of us, oh, you can't quit. What's the message you're sending? This is different. This isn't the 60s or the 70s or the 80s, even the 90s. It's different. And you got to be fair. And I think that's where you can have opinions on both sides here. But at the end of the day, you got to be fair and look at both sides. And I can certainly see that.